Hey guys, my name is Ryan, and this is my 1986 Volkswagen Vanagon, affectionately called Bigfoot.
This video is sponsored by Babbel. Start speaking a new language in 3 weeks with Babbel. Get 6 months free when you sign up for 6 months.
I was studying industrial design at the University of Illinois, looking around at my classmates and kind of the culture there. I didn't really see myself designing water bottles and designing shoes. So I wanted to get into designing things that meant more to people. So that's kind of where my whole thinking went with this van. I drew the entire van in CAD, and then I designed the cabinets in my 3D model of the van. There's no excess space anywhere in this van. Everything has a purpose or a use. I took my computer and I set it down in here when there was nothing in the van. And then I built prototypes of the cabinets and I put them in here. Then I could go back into my 3D model, scale it down a little bit, and then build another prototype out of foam core board that made a significant impact on the design. Just, you know, using the space as best as I could, as efficiently as I could. This is my 1986 Volkswagen Vanagon that I affectionately call Bigfoot. I recently added the high top. The roof of the van wasn't tall enough. Just makes it a whole lot easier to live in. Original headlights on this van were terrible at night. It was almost as if I was holding 2 candles in front of my eyes as I was driving down the road. So I added these LED headlights. They've got the LED halo lights there and then the LED X's for my high beam. That made a huge difference. Going around, we've got these truck mirrors. When I bought the van, it had smaller mirrors that when you hit 50 miles an hour, they would just fold over and then you wouldn't be able to see out the side of the van. It's got a 1.5-inch lift, and then it's got these all-terrain general grabber tires. Something that I added to make the space feel a little bit bigger was this Arb awning here. This comes out about 8 feet. So it adds an additional 8 feet of living space outside the van. Round back, we've got a combination bike rack and ladder. And on top of that, we have a Go SD trasharoo here. This is intended for putting trash in. I just use it for additional storage. Funnels, dog toys, toe straps, jug for doing oil changes. If I took the trasharoo off the back, I could fold this down and put 2 bikes on there as well. It originally came with the Volkswagen engine. It's been upgraded to a Subaru EJ25. I did the installation of the Subaru engine myself using a Rocky Mountain Westie Van Cafe Subaru conversion kit. It's a completely different car now than what it used to be before. One of the first things you'd notice is this Venture Libre tool holder back here. I don't use these tools nearly as much now with the Subaru because it never breaks down on me, but it's still handy to have. And then I also have my socket set up here, some additional storage for the rear screen, an umbrella just in case. And the great thing about Volkswagen vans is that you've got an awning already built into it. All you have to do is close these curtains and now we're in a shaded spot. It's perfect. In this rear cabinet here, this is an original Westphalia cabinet. I removed the door, it was kind of useless. It's just all held in with these bungee cords, so it's super easy to get books out. This was just a regular door that folded down. If you have this back area loaded up with your luggage or your pillows or anything like that, you can't get into this cabinet. I added this roll-up door here, which solves that problem. It's always accessible. I added this rear shower sprayer back here. There's a valve. It says sink or shower, so we have to swap it to shower. And then we just turn the pump on via the sink, and that pressurizes the system. So this is great for, you know, coming back from the beach and we've got sandy feet. You can also attach this up top here if we're taking a shower off the back of the van, rinsing off from the beach, and, you know, just use it as a regular shower head. On the top is an 80-watt solar panel. This 80-watt panel doesn't really cut it, but that'll change eventually. On the full Westphalia campers, they've got cutouts on the side for the stove exhaust, an electrical port, and a water input. They all rust out from those ports. That was a pretty big consideration that I had when I was looking for a van to buy. Along the bottom, I added bed liner, protects the van from trees out in the backwoods, and it also offers a little bit of rust protection. In here, this is where I spend most of my time, in the driver's seat. I've added the wood inlet onto the dashboard. This matches the wood floor that's down in the van. And then in the center there, you've got a scan gauge pod. This is how I monitor the Subaru engine. It's a brass shifter. This came from the previous owner. These are custom seats done by a company called SoFine in Colorado. I actually picked out the fabric and I sent them the fabric, and they made the seat covers for me. And then I reupholstered the seat myself with all new foam and everything. A lot of people complain about Vanagon seats, that they're uncomfortable, but they really aren't as long as you replace the foam. Let's go into the living area of the van. I did this as my senior design thesis, where I wanted to come up with a kind of modular system that made it easy for van builders to build their own van. I added this cutting board to the side here so you can stand outside, cut up your vegetables, or, you know, I typically use it as just a drink holder for when I'm standing outside the van hanging out. This is my stove up top. This is a Dometic propane stove. I wanted to have something that was easily covered. This area here also acts as a working space. I've been super happy with it. I just have to be careful not to drop anything on it and shatter the glass lid. And then down here, we've got our truck fridge. Barely uses any power, keeps my food super cold, keeps my beers cold. Over here we have the sink. Same thing, it's a Dometic sink. It's got the closing lid so I can put stuff on top of it. Water faucet, just an electric water faucet. I oftentimes see this under the sink area not used, so I added this nifty drawer here that's got keys, it's got toothpaste and toothbrush. In here we've got pots and pans storage. I've got a 6-gallon water tank. And then up front here, this pulls out and we increase our countertop space here for food prep. This is a cutting board. And then when we pull this out, underneath is all the cutlery in here. This was kind of an awkward space to design around. Knew that I wanted to be able to walk up and sit down in the seat, so I decided to pull the entire cabinet out. So this makes it super easy to get to my dry foods and everything else. I'm not down in here, you know, inside of a cabinet trying to fish something out. I pull everything out and it's right here for me. This is where I've got all of my tools stored up here. I've got drills, I've got a circular saw, I've got a jigsaw. Having the high top makes all of this space so much more useful. It's insulated and upholstered up top. Added this wood trim to kind of match the wood that's found in the rest of the van. This is the switch for the lower lights down here. It's a dimmer switch. Got a USB charging port, and then this is the switch for the upper lights. And then over here we've got another light here that swivels around. It's a reading light, great for when you're stealth camped in a city. You can just use this small reading light versus turning on all the other lights inside the van. I always had an issue with condensation in this van when I was living in it in the wintertime. It was hot in the van because of the heater, but it was cold outside, so obviously the windows would always fog up. So when I added the high top, I wanted the best fan I could buy. So I've got this Max fan here. It's great because it sucks the air out, or you can close it down and then reverse the speed, and it acts as a ceiling fan. This is the original Westphalia bed that's up here. It's just modified to work with the high top. It really isn't too bad sleeping upstairs. I've done it a couple of times, and it really doesn't feel claustrophobic at all. I was worried about it feeling claustrophobic, and it's not. We got our table, swivel table, so you can, you know, use it in any position down here. We'll set up like our bigger ingredients, and then obviously when it's time to eat, we'll set our plates and everything just on the table here, and it swivels up nicely. The bed here, all I have to do is remove the table, and then it just folds down. is a modified Westphalia bed, 5-inch memory foam queen size mattress that I cut down. So it's kind of half of a queen, 3/4 of a queen size bed. This is where my 100 amp hour house battery lives. It's an AGM. My inverter is down there. This is my Renogy charge controller. And then got my laptop. I just throw underneath there sometimes. Water hose, an electrical cord, just in case I'm using a tool that needs to get plugged in. I can plug in the electrical cord to my inverter. Underneath, this is where my diesel heater is mounted. It works great for me. Keeps the van at a nice toasty 75 degrees inside, even if it's 7 degrees outside. And then also this is the thermostat and the controller for the diesel heater. It's fully insulated with wool. I pulled out all the wall panels. I used truck bed liner on the metal walls in here. And then on top of that, I used 2-inch thick sheep's wool. The original stuff was fiberglass. Fiberglass isn't really meant to be in a rolling vehicle. It shakes around and bunches up. It absorbs water. Not great to breathe. This is just a cork board. The odds and ends, our phones when we're sleeping downstairs will go into the little bag here. Speakers in the headbanger cabinet. When you're sleeping downstairs, down here in the morning, when you wake up, you immediately hit your head on the bottom of the cabinet here. LED puck lights for when I'm working on the engine. This is actually vinyl floor that's made to look like it's a wood floor. So it's super durable. I've carried around engine parts in here just on the bare floor, and oil and gas and stuff can get onto the floor, and all I do is wipe it up with a paper towel. If you're thinking about getting into van life, first of all, buy a van or whatever, and just go do it immediately. Like, you know, while you're still in an apartment or a house, go experience it as soon as possible before doing an entire build out and spending all this money. Throw a mattress in the back and go sleep behind a gas station, go sleep in front of the Walmart, and go sleep at the beach. You know, go out to the forest and go sleep in the forest with it, and see how you like it. There's plenty of places that rent out fully built out campers now. I wish everyone would go do it. I wish everyone would experience what it's like to wake up in a Walmart parking lot, but also wake up in the middle of the forest and walk outside your van, open the sliding door and walk out and see, you know, the entire universe. Because there's ups and downs. There's ups and downs in everything.
As things are opening back up, I'm sure, like me, that you're itching to go somewhere, and nothing is going to enrich your travel experience more than feeling comfortable communicating with locals, which is why this offer from Babbel is so great. Babbel is an effective app that teaches you languages. University studies have shown that just 15 hours of Babbel equals a whole semester of college Spanish. So with 10 to 15 minute short, easy, fun classes, Babbel is proven to get you speaking a new language in just 3 weeks. The lessons are built by over 150 real language teachers, not machine learning or AI, so you know that it's tried and true. And now with the new podcast, stories, and games, you can immerse yourself in a new language. So take a break from your daily routine and spend some time improving your cognitive functions, and know that the next trip you take will be much more meaningful when you're able to communicate with the locals. So click the link in the description and get 6 months free when you buy 6 months of Babbel and start speaking a new language in just 3 weeks. Thank you for watching. Have a great week.